Okay, so today this is all about how to audit our existing MLS listings. So the very first step is going to be to have Flex MLS pulled up and logged in. You're also going to want to go ahead and have a separate tab with DHI Sales open with the community that you're going to be auditing. Since we're going to start by auditing Belmead Landing, I've got us set to our Belmead Landing page here. If you needed to go to a different neighborhood, this little button right here, and you can scroll through all the communities and pick the one that you need. So since Belmead Landing, click on that, and here we go. You're also going to want to go ahead and have Windows Teams open up. From there, you'll go to the community that you are auditing, go to the community files, and then when we go to the top up here, click on Files, and now we've got access to all of the different files for the community that we're going to need for the purpose of this audit. So, first step, back to Flex MLS. I only want to see the active listings for Belmead Landing. So I'm going to go to my office listings. From there, I'm going to sort this by community name. So Belmead Landing is up here at the top. So again, this one's pending. I don't need that. I only want our active listings. So I'm going to check those off as I come across them. Okay, and that's the end of Belmead Landing. So once you've got your active listings checked, if you just click on selected, it's then going to just narrow that list down. So now I only have the active listings. From there, I like to go to detail. And this is where you can see the listing as a whole. So when I'm auditing listings, the very first thing that I'm going to do is look at the price. I want to make sure that this price reflected here is the same price that we have in DHI Sales. So this home, this is 1049 Richland Creek Drive, listed at $246,500. To verify that, I'm going to click back over to DHI Sales. I want to find 1049 Richland Creek. Okay, and I see that this home, the total price is $246,500. That's the same that we have in MLS, so that is good. No need to make any changes there. From there, I also want to then look down into the public remarks. Whenever we have a special BFC, or the Builder Forward Contribution, essentially, that is any type of special interest rate promotion that we have running through the in-house lender, DHI Mortgage. So in the public remarks, we can see it says that there is special financing with special interest rate as low as 4.99% and up to $6,000 in seller paid closing costs with preferred lender. Must close by October 31st, 2025. So now we want to make sure that that BFC information is accurate. So the way that we're going to check that, we're going to go into Teams. So again, under these community files, we'll go to DHI Mortgage. And this here is going to be our most up-to-date BFC sheet. So we will open this up. There we go. All right. So this house is projected to close in October. So we're in Belmead Landing. So in Belmead Landing, homes that can close in the month of October. For government loans, so VA or FHA loans, we've got the 4.99 rate here. For conventional loans, it's that 5.5. Whenever we're advertising this, we are going to include the lowest number in the description. So that lowest number here is the 4.99. So when we go back into MLS, we can see this interest rate as low as 4.99%. So BFC information in here is perfect, and that is accurate. So with this home, it's going to have to close by the end of October. So we want to make sure that in the listing, it also notes that the estimated completion timeline is October. So right down in here, you can see estimated completion is October 2025. So that is perfect. Also, in our public remarks, we always want to make sure that we have our full disclaimer in there. So this is where that starts. The home is under construction, estimated completion, and then all of this verbiage. So home was under construction. So all of this verbiage that you see right here, that is going to be our standard verbiage for the public remarks. In the private remarks, we want to make sure that we have the information for both of the agents who are listed on this home. So this is saying to call Patrick Duncan or Jennifer Whitley. The way that we're going to verify that is if we go down here to the listing office information, listing member, Patrick Duncan, co-listing member, Jennifer Whitley. The order that you see these names in as far as listing and then co-listing is the same way that we want this mapped out in the private remarks. So Patrick as the main listing agent, Jennifer as the co-listing, so her name comes second here. Beyond that, everything else that you see here in the private remarks is something that we want to include in every single one of our listings. So if it does not have this information in the private remarks, we want to add that in there. So now that we've looked at that, those are the biggest things I look for, and those are the things that are most likely to change. So the pricing is going to change, and the BFC information can change. So when you're auditing, those are going to be some of the most common things that you see. We now want to go through and take a look at the photos to make sure that these look good. So as far as our photos go, first thing we want to look at is the order. We want to make sure that the very first photo on every listing is an exterior photo shot. So this cannot be anything from the inside. It has to be the exterior of the home looking at the front door. The second photo, we want that to be the home features slide. So this here, okay, this is the Callaway 3 plan. So this is all the features of the home. And then from there, we like to go into the kitchen. So a kitchen shot. So those should be your very first 3 photos. After that, it'll go back to the exterior, and then I like to set them up in a way that makes sense like you're moving through the house. So for example, the front door leading into the home. It then jumps straight back into the kitchen. Ideally, we would want this to go to the living room first. So these photos here, the living room, then into the dining room, then into the kitchen, then into the rest of the bedrooms. So these photos here seem to be a little out of whack. So how are we going to make those changes? So we will note that we need to update those photos. Go back over to the side here. So this is the listing we're working on. This here is the listing number in MLS. That little drop-down tab right next to it, we click that, and we can edit listing, and then this is going to take us to the full listing input form. So this is where we change anything for the listing. So if you need to adjust anything, you're going to go to this screen. Right now, working on photos. So we're going to go over to the media, and let's go to our photos. Okay, so the house, the feature slide, the kitchen, and then we're back to the front of the home. That front door opens up, but then we really want that to show the flow of the house. So I am just going to take a look and see. So that is photo number 5. So then the next picture, photo number 6, we want to be that living room. So come here, make this photo number 6. So then the next photo after that should be 7, then 8. We're still in the living room here, so then 9, And then those are all of our living room photos. So open the door, go through the living room. It's then going to lead us into the dining room area. So let's go to our dining room section right here. So we want to move these up to be right after the living room. So living room ended on 9. So then the next is going to be number 10. Then 11. Then 12. So we want it to go in the order that is almost as if you were walking through the house, kind of like if you were touring. So you can see here, you walk in the front door. Okay, right in the front, you've got that living room area. As you walk through the living room, you then come into the dining room area. If you walk past that dining room, it's then going to take you into the kitchen. So we've got our kitchen photos there. Okay, perfect. And then that's going to take us into the bedroom. So bedroom photos look good. Okay, you've got, this is going to be your bathroom attached to the bedroom, so perfect. All right, so they're back out into the house. So now if we're looking down the back hallway, you've got more bedrooms, bathroom. Okay, that all looks good. We've got the outside of the house. We like to have this home is connected slide, just lets them know you are going to be getting the smart home features with the house. We like to have the floor plan itself in there. And then the last couple slides are going to be some of the local area USP or unique selling point photos. So just things where it's going to show you if you're close to, in this case, the Henry Brigham Community Center. You're close to the interstate. You're close to Fort Eisenhower. So just lets them know what's close and around them. But so those are all in a good order. So perfect. Once you've made those edits to the photos, you can go back to return and edit your listing. And that's going to take us right back to that input page again. Now let's say those photos are just all out of whack, or you notice that it only has like one photo and you need to add more. So where can you find those photos? Or yeah, if you notice that it's like, whoa, there's no pictures of the living room in here, or just, anything's missing. So if you go back to this listing, so again, 1049 Richland Creek Drive, we're going to go back to our details. So we can take a look here, and we want to see what plan this is. So this is the Callaway 3 plan. So if we need to find the Callaway 3 photos, we can go back into Teams. We'll close out of that BFC. Go back to our community files. So I'm going to go down here to my photography folder. So this is the Callaway 3 plan. So we'll go to the Callaway 3. So now in here, here's photos of the model home. So this has every single photo in the model home, but you can also pull up the MLS photos. And this has all of the photos that we need broken down in order. Okay, well, it has them slightly out of order. But so you can go through and it's going to have every single photo. So photo number 1 to number 2, number 3. So it gives you the full order of the photos that you need. If we go back to that original photography folder, if you notice that you need the feature slide, it doesn't have that in there. So just as a reminder, that feature slide, this is what I mean. So the feature slide is going to be this right here. If you need to find that to add to a listing, if we go back into Teams and the community files under photography, there's then feature slide photos. We'll click on that, and then you can find the slide that corresponds to the floor plan that you're auditing. Okay, but so now that we've got our photos back in order that we need, let's say we notice that the listing price is wrong. If we needed to update that listing price, we go back into the Edit Listing section. From here, we can change the listing price. We would click on this here, type in what the new price is, and then click Save. If we notice that, hey, the BFC information in the public remarks is wrong, from the same listing input screen, we're going to go to our listing information. Under the main fields section, we are going to scroll down, and here is the public remarks. So here we see where it's got that BFC detail. So let's say the new rates have come in, and actually now it's 3.99%. So we would come in here, make that change, put that back. But so once you've made all the changes that you need to for that, you'll click on Save Changes here. If you need to change the private remarks to add in one of the agents or add in that verbiage that's supposed to be there, you can edit all of that right here. So anything that you need as far as public and private remarks are going to be on this main field section. While we're in here, we also want to make sure that the HOA information is accurately in here. So with the HOA, our annual association fee here is $350. So that is already in here. The association, there is one, and you pay this annually. So that's all in here. That's correct and good to go. Now, if the home has any special appliances that are included, we want to take a look at that. So let me go back to the listing, and I can show you what I mean there. Okay, so we're back to the listing. So if we have a home that already is going to include the refrigerator or the washer and dryer, that is not standard practice for us. So if that is in the home, that is like a special feature that we want to highlight, we want to advertise. So in the public remarks, in the same section where you've got the BFC rate, you would then see something with it right behind that in all caps, refrigerator included, washer and dryer included. If you see that on here, we need to make sure that that's actually reflected in the listing details as well. So let's say it says refrigerator included. Okay, so now when we come over to edit that listing, under our listing information, so not in main fields, we're going to jump over to the details section. So we will scroll through until we see appliances. Here we go, appliances. So if in that description it said that there is a refrigerator that's already included, we want to come through and make sure that the refrigerator is checked off there. Same thing if there's a washer and dryer, we would then come in and add in the washer, and we would add in the dryer. So any appliance that's going to be included, we just want to make sure that that's notated in here. Some other things that we may offer is that the yard is fully fenced in already. So if we're including a fence with the house, we also need to notate that in here as well. So when you get to fencing, you would just note it is fenced. As far as other features go, all of the homes in this neighborhood are going to have sprinklers in the front and the rear. So this lot features, we would include that the lot is landscaped and that there are sprinklers in the rear and sprinklers in the front. If this home sits on a cul-de-sac, we're able to notate that right here. If it has a wooded view behind the home, we can notate that in here. So any of the lot-specific items, we can check that off in this section as well. Once you've made any changes, again, just save changes, and you're good to go. Okay. So I'm going to send over, I'll have a list for you of a few other things that you want to check as far as the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, that is accurate. So you'll know based on the plan that it is, the bedrooms and bathrooms need to be reflected and make sure that that's accurate. Same thing with the square footage for all of those. We're also going to want to verify the lot size. Now, to verify the lot size, we were going to have to look at the land files for the community. So this is a two-step approach. The very first thing we need to do is we need to see what is the lot number for this house. So one of the ways we can find that is if you are editing the listing, go back to that input form, excuse me, if we go back to the listing information. On the main field, we are going to scroll down until it's not listed in here. That's why. Okay, so here it is, the tax lot. This here should be filled in, and this is going to tell you what the lot number is. But do not see that filled in. There's a two-step approach on how we're going to figure out what that lot number is. We know the address is 1049 Richland Creek. We're going to go back into DHX sales. 1049 Richland Creek. And we can see here in this full property number, the last three digits are going to be the lot number. So 059, this is going to be lot 59. If you want to double check yourself on that and you're looking at the map, you just find lot 59, click on that, and see 1049 Richland Creek, that is the right one. So, lot 59. What I'm going to do is go ahead, back to the MLS listing details, and put in the tax lot as 59. We're going to save that. Okay, now we know the listing has been saved. So, the next thing that we need to look at, back to that listing information, we're trying to see if the lot size is accurate here. Now, with lot 59, and it said the lot size is 0.16 acres. So the way that we're going to be able to verify that is to have to look at the neighborhood plat that's going to show lot 59. The way that we're going to find that is if we go back to teams and go back to the community files. Go back to the community files. If we go to the land files, So you know all the homes in building lending in this section do have vinyl siding. The foundation, they all need to say that it's a slab foundation, so nothing's built in here currently. So we check that off. So I'll have to get the cheat sheet for you